All right, so this is going to be factoring level 2. So what we're going to do is we're going to still do our first two steps, but once we're done with them, we're going to add these two new steps. So this is the new step right here. We're going to create a factor box and rewrite the expression. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. So always the first thing that you need to do is make sure that everything is moved over to the left-hand side. In this case, it is, so we have that step complete. Now you're going to pull out any common factors. So always make sure to try to see if the first number goes in. So for example, in this case, 8 does obviously go into 8, and then it also goes into 16 and to 120. So I'm going to pull out the 8 on each of these terms, and I'm going to get p squared minus 2p and then minus 15, and that's going to equal 0. Okay, now that I have that, I'm going to do the new step. And so what the new step says is that you need to create a factor box with a times c at the top and b at the bottom. So this is where it's helpful if you have your terms already written in order as A, B, C, because it's a little easier to get things. So this one right here is A, this is B, this is C. So A times C in this case is going to be 1 times negative 15, and B is negative 2. Okay, so you need to figure out a way to get two numbers that multiply to get negative 15 and add to be negative 2. And so the numbers that work for that are negative 5 and 3. Okay, so we're done with step 3, and then right after that, what we're going to do is we're basically going to replace, when you see the negative 2 in your expression right here, we're going to replace that with the negative 5 and 3. Okay, so, or if you want to think about it, it's negative 2p, and we're going to replace it with negative 5p and 3p. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and rewrite. So I'm going to have here 8, and then 1p squared. And then instead of writing negative 2p, I'm going to write negative 5p plus 3p. And then I'm going to just continue to write negative 15. So basically all I did was replace the negative 2p with negative 5p and 3p. All right, let's look at the next one. Okay, on this next one, first thing, always make sure your equation is set to 0, which in this case it is. Then we're going to see if there's anything that we can pull out. Since both of these have an n, we can pull out an n from both of them. So we can divide by n, and you'll get n plus 4. Okay. Now, here's the good thing, is that because there's no more squareds, there's no n squared, you're done. You don't have to do anything else from there, so you get to skip this step. All right, last example. Okay, so once again, when we start, make sure you move everything to the left-hand side. So we're going to have 3v squared. Now remember, it's helpful to have v squareds, then v's, and then numbers. So we want 3v squared minus 7v plus 4 is equal to 0. If I look at this and try to figure out a number that goes into both 3 and 7 and 4, well, the only numbers that go into 3 are 3 and 1, but 3 doesn't go into 7 or 4. So we can't pull anything out. So the only thing left to do is to do our factor box. So we're going to do A times C. So A, B, and C right here. So A times C, 3 times 4 is going to give me 12. And then I'm going to put B right here. Okay, so I need two numbers that multiply to give me 12 and add to give me negative 7. Okay, since the number 12 is positive, I need them both to be the same sign. So they're both going to have to be negative since the bottom one's negative. And I'm going to do 3 and 4. Okay, once again, I'm going to replace the negative 7 in my equation with negative 3 and negative 4. So I'm just going to come down and write 3v squared minus 3v minus 4v minus, and then plus 4 right here, sorry. So the only two numbers that you use are these two right here. Okay, so basically you can see that I repeated, or I just changed out the negative 7 for a negative 3 and a negative 4. All right, and that is it for this level.